Good morning and welcome to Gulfstream today. Katie Stazak here along with track announcer Pete Aiello. Pete, it's a very exciting day in the horse racing world today, and we're going to celebrate it big time here at Gulfstream. We've got an early post time of 12:45 p.m., 12 races, and again, a double dose of carryovers.
Happy Travers Day and happy Rainbow Six carryover day. A guaranteed pool today of $650,000. As you mentioned, 12 races on the program, so the Rainbow Six starts in race number 7, $650,000 guaranteed.
Plus, we have a carryover in the Super High Five. That's our final race of the day, more than $4,000. That's surely going to go up, as they always bet this fun and challenging, often puzzling wager. And of course, like you mentioned, it is Travers Day. Triple Crown hero American Pharoah going to look to remain unbeaten since winning the Triple Crown, really since his very first race. And let's take a look at what else is going on around the country today. We'll take a look at Twitter, and how about another champion? Wise Dan has not run in, gosh, almost a year. He's been training brilliantly up at Keeneland. Great to see him doing well, and looks like he's headed north.
Yeah, the Woodbine Mile on Sunday, the 13th of August, is his target. And Wise Dan hopefully gets a good race in that race, wins it, and then goes on to the Breeders' Cup. It would certainly be fitting for owner Morton Fink to get to win a Breeders' Cup race in Lexington.
That would be very, very cool, and for him to win yet another Eclipse Award as a champion turf horse. This horse is just ageless, pretty remarkable. Talk about another pretty impressive horse, much younger though. Look at this ad. Acapulco is the top-rated 2-year-old filly in Europe. This is pretty cool for an American horse. You go, Wesley Ward.
Absolutely. Always great to see horses make a splash in the international scene. We just heard, just actually this morning, I read in the form that Take a Flight's going to Japan. So we have U.S. contingents going all over the world. That's great to see.
Great for American racing and for the sport in general. We mentioned the Travers. This is a pretty incredible photo here from Barbara Livingston of DRF. This is yesterday, American Pharoah going out for his gallop. This looks like an afternoon of racing. This is just people there in the morning to watch him stretch his legs.
Yeah, they said over 15,000 came to watch American Pharoah. I saw another picture on Facebook yesterday of people with their lawn chairs in front of the gate staying overnight to make sure they get a good spot for today's Travers.
It's just so great for the sport. You have to thank trainer Bob Baffert and the owner Zayat Stables, Ahmed Zayat, for really promoting this horse and giving people access to him. But on this big Travers Day, we also want to shout out to some of the local horses that will be running in Grade 1 stakes up in New York today. That includes our own Sheer Drama. She's been brilliant, coming off a Grade 1 win in the Personal Ensign. We've got Grand Billy in the Grade 1 King's Bishop. He won the carry back here. And we even have our own hometown favorite Wildcat Red going in the Forego.
Yep, and on top of that, we have Mary Meadow, who won the Princess Rooney on Summit of Speed Day. So both South Florida horses represent Gulfstream Park well. You see a lot of familiar names up there. Hopefully we can get some of that action here today.
I think we will. So let's get to today's card. We've got 12 races to get to, so it's going to be a fun and exciting day. The first race on the card is a $16,000 claimer. Fillies and mares 3-year-olds and up, which have not won 2 races in life, will be sprinting 5 furlongs on the turf course. Scratch your main track only participant. That is Wildcat Magic. I went with my top selection, another wild card hit. But Pete, you went to the 6. Tell me about Hypno.
Well, Hypno is a horse that really hasn't panned out. She beat a strong field of maidens on her debut run at Tampa Bay Downs, came here to run against A Other Than Company and didn't fare very well. Then they tried her going long. That wasn't a good idea. They tried her on the dirt. That wasn't a good idea. So they dropped her down in class and put her back at 5/8 on the grass. She ran back to a decent level there. She was 4th behind repeat winner Roxy Lucy. Panici has the call again. I thought she was a viable alternative to some of the horses who will take action here today, though I think your top play is the one to beat Wildcard Hit. She was rolling last time.
She really was. She made a late rally while 5 wide to get up for 3rd, just a neck from 2nd, going this distance on August 14th. That's for trainer Aubrey Mirage. I really thought that was an encouraging performance, considering it was coming off a 2-month freshening and it was her first start for the barn. I see lots of room for improvement here. Who else did you use in here?
7, Morgan Falls makes a little sense. Dreaming of Angela, the current favorite, I think she's going to have a tough time of it tactically. She has to shake free, and there's some other speed in here.
So that's how the first race is shaping up. Let's move on to race number 2. That's going to begin the early pick 4 today. It's a $6,250 claimer. 3-year-olds and up, which have not won 3 races in life, or 3-year-olds, will be going a mile on the main track. No scratches, but we have quite a few jockey changes today. Eddie Castro is going to be on the 2, and Andy Hernandez is going to be on the 6 today. Pete, we used all the same horses here, but have them in a little bit of a different order. You put the 3 on top, Abbaset Brothers, and he definitely makes sense.
Well, he looked like a winner to me last time out. He got to the quarter pole and was still well in hand, and then he got tackled by El Gran Joyful, who is a gritty competitor from the claiming ranks. This race is easier than his last race. All he has to do is run back to that. When El Gran Joyful is running against wide-open claimers, we touched on it yesterday. We actually had all of the good ones in the same race yesterday. You have Palatine Hill, Valid Concept, the Fleet Accompli. That's who the winner of this horse's last race was running against. Easier company here today. He got the nod for me.
Definitely flatters him a bit. I went with Zoombox because he's the only 3-time winner in the field. Again, exploiting those conditions for non-winners of 3 or 3-year-olds. He's a 3-year-old gelding. Going to look to make it 3 in a row. He drew off by 6 last time out in his first start off the claim for Victor Barboza Jr. Seems primed again to exploit those conditions today. What I liked was that not only is he a 3-time winner, but all 3 of those wins came at this distance. But what about the Sundrop kid, Pete? I wanted to mention him because Harry Hernandez is off his mount today. Eddie Castro is going to be aboard.
Yeah, the Sundrop kid is kind of a tricky horse to ride. He has a tendency to wander inside or outside, but he won last time out against Nantus. Takes a step up here today.
We move on to race number 3. This is a $25,000 to $30,000 maiden claiming event. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, going to be sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track. Scratch the 5, trust your intuition, and also Andy Hernandez picks up the mount on the 6. That's Starship Tammy. Pete, we both went with the same horse here. This is Mystic Blue, making her first start off the claim today for trainer Michael Petro.
I think she was a great claim, just surely based on the breeding. If they can get this horse to win a few races, she has to have at least some residual value as a broodmare, just based on the fact of who her mother was. That You Miss Blue was a New York bred superstar. It's actually a funny story. I was talking about that breeding to Billy Badgett and asked if he'd ever heard of That You Miss Blue. He grinned and said, not only did I hear of her, I trained her.
Billy Badgett, love having him here at Gulfstream. The only concern here, I'm not a huge fan of the stallion in Maimonides, but a great dam, and I think she's going into a great barn. They're 26% off the claim.
Well, here's the thing about her. She ran debut run at Tampa. She lost to Jessica C., who was dropping out of special weight. But if you go back and watch that race, the rider fell asleep. She should have won on debut. Last time out, she got buried in traffic and then made a mild rally to be 4th. It was really nothing to get too excited about. The blinkers go on, which I think she needs badly. This is her second start with Lasix. She should improve here today.
The other horse that we both used is Fly Me to Dubai. I have her in 3rd, Pete. You have her in 2nd. She's going to drop down to the maiden claiming ranks for the first time today. She was beaten double digits in her first 2 starts. They were in maiden special weight company. Tyler Gaffalione going to ride for Gustavo Delgado. The winners of her first 2 starts, Miss Ella and Pursuing Fate, they're both stakes fillies now, so she's definitely worth putting somewhere on your ticket. So we'll move on to the 4th race. This one is a $6,250 claiming event. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, will be sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track. We have a field of 7 set to go here. And Pete, I think this mare is unquestionably the horse to beat here, Duchess of Wicklow.
She is, but this was not a strong endorsement by me. I think this race is kind of tricky. I don't have a whole lot of confidence in how this pace is going to unfold here. I think Sweet Cup from the inside is going to have to go early with the rail post. What do you do with Starship Amanda coming off the turf, sprinting, going 5/8? She did show speed the last time she was on the main track. Pom Pom Power landed on top last time out. There was no speed in there, so I don't imagine she'll be on the engine. But then you look at a horse like Princess Appeal, who's 3-1 on the morning line. She'll be coming from last. Lyle Angel will be coming from far back. Where does the pace develop here? Who gets what? And for me, I was just really kind of confused about that.
I do think, though, this is a mare that is perfectly spotted today by Ron Spatz. Cutting back in distance, dropping down in class, tied to 5th when going 7/8 at the $12,500 level on August 7th. But prior to that, she was only beaten 2 lengths in a $16,000 optional claimer. She's a 5-time winner here. So I really couldn't find anyone that I liked more. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if someone else jumped out and pulled the upset.
Yeah, well, here's what I looked at. I like Princess Appeal and Lyle's Angel underneath. I think Duchess of Wicklow will be in front of both of them early. And seeing as how I don't see a clear-cut pace, she gets the tactical advantage in that regard.
And we'll see how speed plays early on the day here at Gulfstream. Definitely keep an eye on that and play these races and figure out how that track is playing when you put your Rainbow Six ticket together. We are on to the 5th now. This is an allowance, and 3-year-olds and up will be going a mile on the turf course. We have 9 set to go to the post here. Last time I checked, the MTO had not scratched, but Pete will update you on all the other changes after this show. Surely that one will come out, but Miguel Vasquez is on the 8, always a catch. And I put always a catch on top of my ticket. But before we get to that, let's take a look back at a race from a horse that Pete and I both have in second, and I think he is worth putting some on your ticket. That's Giant's Passion. We're going to take a trip back to July 1st. This is a $35,000 optional claimer. I thought this was a really nice run for this horse. He's going to finish 4th, but only beaten a length and a half. You see him making a nice run here on the inside. Keeps at it, hangs a little bit, but he's still in it. The reason I wanted to show this race because of the winner. This horse here, Hollywood Idol, is very game, and he came back to run a very strong second in allowance up at Saratoga. So I think he can improve off that effort. You obviously used him as well. Why did you like him?
Well, I liked it when you looked at that backtrack. He tried to hook Hollywood Idol, and Hollywood Idol turned him away. That's been the way that horse has been doing business. He lets you come up and get to him and then re-break. So Giant's Passion faded very late in the race. I had a strong opinion here, though, Katie. I like the 4-horse changing direction. I think this horse has a huge amount of ability. He beat a pretty strong field last time out. The second-place horse in that race, Wildcatter's Gold, was well-regarded on debut, so well-regarded after a trouble call in that race that he went on to take a huge amount of action on Sire Stakes that day as a maiden in a stake just a couple of weeks ago. Changing direction, won and won well, swept up, took the lead and pulled clear, gets more ground to work with. Arch on the top side, Giants Causeway on the bottom. He wants more ground anyway. Gaffleone takes over for the injured Edgar Zayas, who, by the way, is on the comeback trail. Changing Direction is a horse that if he runs as good as he did last time, I think he's the one to beat in here.
Absolutely bred for this, Pete. My only concern is that he is facing winners for the first time, but he's certainly well spotted. I did go with Always a Catch. I thought he turned in a pretty game performance in his own right last time out. Duel to the wire, finished 3rd, only beaten a neck against $50,000 claimers. That was on July 31st. Just think this horse has run against much tougher, and again, well spotted here, but I think this is a pretty wide open affair.
I think so, too.
So we'll go on to the 6th race. This is a maiden special weight. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, going to be sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track. Scratch the 1, Colonel Detweiler. And Juan Leyva is going to be on the 5, Artie's Bourbon Girl. We both went with the 4, Ginger Rush, debuting today for Ralph Nix. Really, really like her from a pedigree standpoint.
Yeah, it's intriguing to me. You're the pedigree expert of the two of us, but here's a horse by Breeders' Cup Sprint winners Fightstown on the top side out of a very, very good mare in Victorina. She carried the Harry Allio colors of Lost in the Fog fame to victories in Northern California quite a few times. You have Fightstown, who stands for $80,000. This horse sells at the Keeneland September sale for $90,000. Seems like that's a heck of a bargain. I'm not really sure what's all that about. She's bred to be much more expensive a purchase price than that.
Well, we'll see how she's developed, but to me it's a very dangerous combination to pair a trainer that wins first time out with a sire that has precocious runners in Nix and Spitestown. And also, the dam, like you mentioned, she did win at first asking, and she was an 11-time stakes winner. She won at 3, 4, 5, and 6 stakes all of those years. Pretty incredible, and this one should be sharp. Blew out 3 furlongs in a bullet, 35-1 on Wednesday. I'd say she's ready.
Here's the thing about it. If you're looking at this first-time starter and you want to know her tactics, she's got speed on the top side and speed on the bottom. She's got to break to the lead if she's going to offer her best run on debut.
And she's got a great gate rider in Tyler Gaffleone in the irons. Is there anyone else you like in here?
Well, the 3's coming in from California, Metamu for Kristen Mulhall, and the 2's coming in from Philadelphia, Red Hot Heels. Red Hot Heels is intriguing because I don't think I have ever remembered Ralph Nix using Luca Panici. She was 1-5 last time out, going long. I think this is a prep for something a bit later on. But those are the 2, 3, and 4 that caught my eye.
Yeah, Red Hot Heels. Training well, but she is coming off a 9-month layoff. But she's a tap at Philly and coming from Nix, so wouldn't be surprised if she upsets her stablemate. So we'll move on to the 7th race, and this begins the Rainbow Six. $650,000 guaranteed today. That's like 6.5 college tuitions, so that's pretty exciting for me. Well, this is a $12,500 claiming event. 3-year-olds and up going to be going a mile and a 16th on the turf course. No scratches yet, waiting for that MTO. And let's take a look back at a race from Pickett's Corner last time out. This is a horse that I put on top because of Tripp. Pete, you did not use him, so I want to hear about your top pick in a second. But take a look at him between horses here today. He has nowhere to go going around the far turn here, but I really like how he's going to end up rallying. Nowhere to go between horses, kind of weaving in and out here. And I like the way he comes on. And this is a horse that when he runs his race, he is tough to beat. Love the way he continues to fight on here, looking for the gap. It's closing a bit, rallies on. He's only beaten 3/4 of a length in this race, which is hard to believe with how far he came back from and how he had to weave in and out of so many horses. Is still right there, doesn't really have room between horses in that race. But this is a very competitive race. I liked him because he's best at this distance and can improve with a better trip. But Pete, please tell me more about 10 Lost Camper. This horse has tailed off from the form he did show earlier, but gosh, he was good early in this meet.
That's exactly it, and he's a 15-time winner. You don't win 15 out of 45 by mistake. This is a horse that's going to need a trip. Here's what I want everyone to note. When you look at this race from a handicapping perspective, if you see Live in Joy in the running lines, I don't know that you can really hold anybody's running line if they ran against Live and Joy against them, because here's what this horse has been doing for Efren Loza Jr. 22 and change, 45 and change, 3/4 and 9 or 3/4 and 10 and change. Races where he's supposed to stop and just keeps right on firing, not giving anybody else an opportunity. So from a form standpoint, don't worry about those races because those are really tactically tough races. They haven't been able to make up a ground against Live and Joy. Your horse lost to him twice. I lost to him last time out. So this is a tough race to kick off the Rainbow Six.
So I think we got to be happy that Live and Joy is not in this race.
Yeah.
Though it might make it easier for the bettors. I don't know. So we'll go to the 8th race. And this is a maiden special weight that kicks off the pick 5. 2-year-old's going to be going 7 furlongs on the main track as they begin to stretch out through our 2-year-old program here at Gulfstream. We've got a pretty exciting debut runner, but let's take a look back of a race from another horse in here, 50s Music, who definitely had some trouble in his career debut last time out. See, he really doesn't get off well, lacks racing room here, and is kind of shuffled back. Just didn't really get into it early on. He has to steady along the back stretch, but he does end up rallying, and I kind of like the way he rallied, and I like the changes today. He's going to get Lasix for the first time and debut as a gelding for trainer Stanley Gold. Pete, I know you like another horse in here that also had a rough trip in his debut, and that was El Charo.
Yeah, El Charo made my list. He debuted at 7 furlongs, which is never an easy thing to do. He got completely mugged at the start, shuffled back, was very green in the early stages, finished up well to be 3rd that afternoon behind a horse who was expected to win and win easily in Mr. Ellie. He did exactly as we expected, so I think El Charo has a big license to improve today. I don't like the post position, but I think the price will be fair. He's 9-2 on the morning line.
A great value. I like the 6, and I think this is an intriguing first-time starter for Stanley Gold. He's a full sibling to Fort Loudon. He swept the Florida Sire Stakes Series as a 2-year-old, went on to win the Grade 3 Carryback and the Grade 3 Gulfstream Park Sprint. Fort Loudon, he did not win at first asking, so that might be something you want to keep an eye on. But it looks like Gold has really taken his time with this colt. 12 published works here, but his most recent was his best work. He went 5 furlongs in 1 minute and 4 last week. I think he's ready to run, and I just love the pedigree. Is there anyone else you like in here?
The 9-horse I used underneath, best of the rest for me.
We'll move on to the 9th race. This is another maiden special weight, and wow, a full field of 13 in this race, not making it easy in this Rainbow Six sequence. 2-year-old's going to go 7.5 furlongs on the turf course, and you know what? There's 13 rudders here, and I'm going to single. I'm going to take a bold move and single in this race with the 6 Titanium Heart, and I'm going to show you why. Here's a video of his last race from August 1st. You're going to see him. He makes a 4-wide bid in this race. This was his career debut, and it was at 5 furlongs. In these 5-furlong turf sprints, it's hard to come back from off the pace, especially in your career debut. And you're going to see Titanium Heart continue to battle and grind it out late in this race. He's only going to be beaten 3/4 of a length in the end. Still getting into stride. A bit of a bigger horse here. Kind of towers over the other horses that maybe are able to get under themselves a little bit easier. The Damless Stakes place ended her best running in turf routes, so I think he's bred and well spotted to relish the stretch out today. Pete, you used him too, so you must agree.
I do. I think this race is really tough, though, so you have to spread in your Rainbow Six.
You're spreading. Who are you spreading with?
I'd use the 11 horse in here, JR's Holiday. If I like El Charro, I have to like JR's Holiday. And the 9 horse Applicator. He was life and death last time out to hold on, but he still ran well. He has experience going long on the turf, and there's a short list of horses that did that.
The 10th race is a $6,250 claimer. 3-year-olds and up, going to be going 6.5 furlongs today. We've got a field of 9. Jonathan Gonzalez is going to be on the 9. El Gran Tito. I went with the 8. So did you, Pete. Tell everybody about Put Some Back.
I don't know what is there much to tell here. He was favored last time out at 2-1, going a 5.5 furlong journey. Gets 6.5 here this afternoon. This race confused me. I'm going to be completely honest about it. He looked like the best horse to me. Second start off a bit of a freshening. He's actually been freshened up since that last race, so he might have some issues. He has a quick first gear when they want to use it, although they have to be careful because he has a tendency to do too much too soon. This race, for me, I thought he was maybe the speed in here.
Do you think the stretch out is going to help him or hurt him?
I think it's going to help him because I think he'll be able to relax. I don't think he wants to rally from off the speed. There was too much speed for him going 5.5 last time.
Anyone else you like in here? What about El Gran Tito getting Jonathan Gonzalez up today?
Well, I went to the wedding. I should go to the funeral. I thought he would run well last time out. He finished a good 4th at 30-1. Here this afternoon, the pace, again, is confusing, so he's going to be coming from well off the speed. That has a little bit of concern for me.
Some options here in the 10th race. Definitely go a bit deeper in there. So let's move on to the 11th. This is a $12,500 maiden claimer. 3-year-olds and up, going to be going a mile on the turf course. Scratch the 5, one-man jam. I went with the 4, Go Salvatore Go. You went to my second selection, and he really makes sense. He ran well last time out. That's Whitfield's return.
I really like him here. I don't know if I could single him, but he would make the short list. He's ran very, very well. Last time out, he was second behind Red Warrior Max, who was supposed to win. 2 starts ago, he was behind Metaphorically. Metaphorically's come back to be a machine. He's won 3 in a row. Whitfield's return continues to improve for Juan Leyva. I think he's the horse to beat in here. And from a standpoint of recent races, a lot of times in these maiden claimers, there's races that are stronger on paper than they look like they are on form. Such is the case for Go Salvatore Go. And the opposite style for me, I don't think his race last time out was really a strong maiden 20, so the drop's not as big as in my opinion.
He is almost having his tag today, but I do see where you're coming from there. But I think he'll be better second start off that 3-month layoff. And it was his first start against older horses, so I think he figures here, but I definitely did not single. I used all 3 of my top selections in here. The final race of the day with a super high carryover of more than $4,000 is a $10,000 maiden claimer. Fillies and Mares 3-year-olds and up going to be going 5.5 furlongs on the main track. We've got 10 horses in here, and we have an unpublished workout to mention. The number 2, AP Coyote, on August 20th went 3/8 in 39.4 seconds. That was at McCathin Training Center in Ocala. And Pete, again, will be on again after this show to remind you of all of these changes and add anything else that we missed during this show. Pete, we used some of the same horses, at least with the 6. That's the common denominator here in Breezy Song. But tell me about Arte Latino, your top selection.
I like her here. I actually might single her in the late pick 4. Arte Latino should be able to chase down the speed. The speed is Breezy Song. She got awfully tired last time out going 3/4. Now she's in it going 5.5. The question is, will some of the speed hook her? And by that speed, I mean the 9 Spring Me, and even the 10 Jane's Cat has a little bit of a first gear. Arte Latino drops back into this level. The last time she was in this level, she finished a good 3rd, closing ground. I think Jaramillo has her swung to the center, turning for home, and runs down Breezy Song in the final 16.
And Amicia Jaramillo and Antonio Sano really doing well together when they pair up. I did go with Breezy Song, returned to the main track last time out, only beaten a length, did get tired in that race. What I liked, Tyler Gaffalione going to stay aboard. That was the first time he rode her last time. He's going to stay on for good reason, and I think she's just found the right level of competition, but we'll see if she can stay the course. She is the speed there. Again, watch how that track is playing. Rainbow Six doesn't begin until race number 7, so you have plenty of time to figure that out. Pete, any parting words before we get this exciting day started?
Well, good luck to American Pharoah, and good luck to all of you who are betting both here at Gulfstream and New York today. We have some great races. Hope the Florida horses make good accounts of themselves. I think sheer drama runs a big one today.
I do too. Wishing the Fox connections well today, as well as everyone else involved with Florida braced horses going to represent us well today. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you back in just a bit.